I expect in the next couple of quarters that probably you're going to see a dynamite move that will drop jaws. It's not going to be incremental. You're going to a new reality. And it wouldn't shock me. My minimum is like 200, but I wouldn't be shocked if it approached 500, to tell you the truth.
Silver price predictions are changing, and most investors haven't noticed yet. Everyone keeps asking the same questions. Is buying silver still a good investment? What is the real silver future price prediction? And where could silver actually go by 2026? In this video, we break down what most investors are missing. This is not hype, and it's not guesswork. Whether you're new and learning how to invest in silver, or you've held it long term, what you're about to hear could change how you see silver's next move. Stay with the video. The most important part comes next.
Particularly silver. We've done a lot of studies in MSA, momentum structural analysis, using our own unorthodox methodology. But again, we've been around since '92. Okay, but what's going on in silver now is not normal, and don't expect it to be normal. Most technical analysts, when they analyze any given market, they look back through the last couple of years in that market and they see norms like, excessive overbought, oversold, swing objectives, things like that. And they're still living in that world with silver. And I think they're making a big mistake. Silver as a money, remember, don't forget it's money. It's not just, silver's like surfing on a wave, but it's really on two waves. The one that's the big one is the monetary aspect of silver and gold. That's the major differentiating asset value underlying those metals. But silver also has the industrial aspect, which is exploding because, we know demand for silver in a couple high-tech categories, and all the data centers and computers and solar panels and so forth and so on. It's in demand that is outpacing supply and has been for 5 years now. And it continues to increase, meaning the deficit increases. So it's got a real problem in that regard. So that's the other wave that most people are focused on that. The silver demand because of this, that, and the other. They're forgetting it's money. And it's very undervalued to its mama metal, gold, historically. And this is one of the trigger levels that caused silver to do what it just did in the last 8 weeks. I'll explain it to you. Silver ebbs and flows versus gold. It goes up in value, down in value, and you can plot it on a chart. And we do it a little differently. We don't do the ratio. We divide an ounce of silver into an ounce of gold, and we get a percent. And if you go back over 50 years, like to 75, and plot what was the best reading that silver had that year, monthly close, versus gold, what was the peak relative performance reading? And we plot it, okay? Well, back in the 79 to 80 bull market in silver, which was still within that range, the half-century range of $4 to 50, $4 to 50, that surge in 79 and 80, which in the last 5 months of that ongoing bull market already for silver and gold, silver went up 4.5-fold in 5 months, reaching $50 for the first time, 1980. Okay. What caused that already existing bull trend in silver to go ape on the upside and do it bam like that? Totally changed the nature of the reality that was expected. Okay. And then in 2010 and 11, silver had already been going up for years again, along with gold, but, layered type go, advance. Frustrating for the bulls, but still up, up, up. And then suddenly in September of 2010 through April of 2011, so it's 6-7 months, silver doubled in half in price. In September 2010, it was like in the 20s. Suddenly went to 50 again, bam, bam, bam. And it did it for years of advance. Suddenly in the last couple quarters, it went crazy. Again, stopping at the top of the old, what is now a 50-year range, was a 50-year range. What caused that explosion? Why didn't it just go up to those highs in the same manner that it had been going up already? Why did it go crazy? When you plot the spread of silver versus gold during those times, you'll see that there was like a ceiling. I'm talking technically now. On that spread chart, every month you'd plot the difference. And there was like a shallow ceiling that prevailed during that bull market of silver and gold where silver just couldn't get above a certain level in relation to gold. And suddenly it popped above it. And that would have been in like the summer of 1979. And when it did, that's when the price of silver went berserk, quadrupled in half in 5 months. And then in 2010, it was September of 2010, already going up in price. Silver was in the 20s. And that spread also broke out over a ceiling that any idiot drawing a chart could see if you plot the spread chart the way we do. And boom, in 7 months, it doubled in half. Okay. Same thing happened this time, except even more clear on the spread chart, even a wider base spanning 10 years of ceiling of silver to gold. Couldn't get above that ratio, that percent. And the November close broke out above it. Bam. Suddenly silver goes crazy. That span of time we find in a lot of other markets, in those rare periods when a market has been stuck in a range for multiple years, decades. Copper did this, for example. It had been in a range from 50 cents to $1.50 in the 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, into the year 2005. And in the latter part of 2005, it broke out above that range, and in a matter of a couple of quarters went to $4.50. Bam! $1.50 to $4.50. On its own. It wasn't associated with, for example, other base metals. It did it on its own. It wasn't even associated with what gold and silver were doing then. A year and a half later, lead did the same thing. You could plot a lead chart going back multiple decades, and it was in its old reality. And when it broke through that, in several quarters, boom, it quadrupled in half in price. All compressed within a couple quarters. Again, on its own, wasn't associated with the copper move even. So we've seen these events occur in other markets where an old price reality, which has existed so long you can't believe it, you're bored by it, you think it's the real reality to live forever. It doesn't. And when the market moves into a new reality, sometimes it does it in an exaggerated manner, in a speedy manner. We know this in other markets, like, we see bubble tops in the stock market, and a lot of people look back on them and say, gee, I should have known that. And sure enough, the collapse that followed was pretty dramatic. Dot-com top to the 2002 low. NASDAQ 100 dropped 82% in 2 years, fully wiping out the entire dot-com bubble, okay? 2007 to 9, similar type process. But the point is that when a market has done something in error, either excessive on the upside or excessive on the downside, in this case for silver, caught in a 50-year range, when you can look at every other market in the world, copper, lead, gold, they weren't caught in that 50-year range. Copper's range was 50 cents to $1.50, and it's living in the 450 level. Now it's 5 something, almost 6. When you stay stuck in that kind of range, and yet silver for some reason stayed in that range for 50 years, despite copper breaking out of its range in 2005, lead in 2007, and gold at each of its bull markets would vastly exceed the prior high. It was 850 in 1980, then it was 1920, and now it's 4,000, et cetera. So why was silver contained? What's going on there? It made a mistake. Now, maybe it was a coerced mistake in effect, manipulation, and we understand that, where certain banks and association, possibly with central banks, might have been playing a game to try to keep it capped down for some reason. Ultimately, that failed, okay? But when silver unleashes itself as it has now, I expect in the next couple of quarters, since that spread breakout, that probably you're going to see a dynamite move that will drop jaws. It's not going to be incremental. You're going to a new reality. And it wouldn't shock me that it's in several $100s. And, they're like Eric Sprott, I think I gave a talk after he did in Toronto back in October. And he noted that, if you deflate silver or adjust it to the monetary growth, it would probably be $200. It would be fair just to match the old highs when you factor in the decay and the quantity of the number of dollars in existence. Well, heck, yeah. Well, let's say that's a new normality, a new reality that would make sense. Well, but when markets go from excess, they quite often, one way or the other, they go excess the other way. in the process of getting to the new reality. I think that's where silver is right now. And so the people who are constantly saying, sell it, take profits, it's going to go back to 50, it's got to go back to this old high here or there or whatever. And then, like a week or so ago, we dropped 15% in silver in like 2.5 days. And a couple of days later, you're back to the high. What are they thinking? Don't they realize that this is not a normal advance? You don't get these multi-month corrections anymore. Now they're measured in days. And frankly, we expect to see silver reach, my minimum is like 200, but I wouldn't be shocked if it approached 500, to tell you the truth. And there's certain other factors in play in that regard too. We could talk about if you want to.
If this helped you see silver a little more clearly, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Thank you for watching and for taking the time to learn. Stay informed and take care.